Welcome to the MachcOn-SL-AWS-1 Project demo. This project is part of the Machc Seed Project and represents the final build step in the development process. Before we dive in, let's clarify, the MachcOn project focuses exclusively on the final actions required to create a deployable build. In this demo, we'll walk through the tasks related to this process. Please note, we won't be covering the details of other libraries or modules. This demo is all about the build and deployment phase. This MachcOn project is all about deploying to the AWS Cloud. If you plan to follow along with the actions shown in this video, make sure you have an AWS account and the AWS CLI tool installed and properly configured on your system. Let's get started. The first step is to download the project. While you can download the entire Machc project, it's not necessary. You can simply check out the required folder using svn or git svn. This is the recommended approach because all mechanism projects adhere to the principle, a module should be responsible to one, and only one, actor. In other words, you'll only need to work with the specific functionality relevant to your task. For this demo, I'll be using Anteater to assist with the process. Anteater is an external accessor tool that serves as a support utility. In this case, I'll use it to manage demo browser controls, which helps speed up the process and make the demo more efficient. The first recipe I'll run in Anteater is AWS Management Console. Of course, you can also open this manually if you prefer. While Anteater handles opening and signing in to the AWS Management Console, I can sit back and take a little break. Of course, I still need to enter the multi-factor authentication key manually. So, the AWS Management Console is now open. And as you can see, the Lambda function has not been defined yet. This MachcOn project includes both a backend and a frontend. For this demo, we'll start by working on the backend. Mechanism projects are built using libraries as modular building blocks. These libraries form the foundation, and this applies equally to third-party libraries as well as our own. It's important to keep this in mind as we design the backend deployment process. We'll use AWS Lambda layers to provide the required libraries for our Lambda functions. We'll use two layers, Core and Commercetools adapter. Let's go ahead and build them. Note, Docker is used for building the layers. Make sure it's installed and running to ensure the build process is successful. After the build process is complete, you can find the resulting zip files in the build folder. As the next step, you'll need to set up your Python environment and install AWS SAM CLI. This process can take a while, so we'll speed up the video to save time. AWS SAM has been installed successfully, and now we can proceed with running the build. The build is complete. The next step is to deploy our Lambda function to AWS. The deployment is complete. Now we can navigate to the AWS Lambda page and verify the Lambda function creation. As you can see, all the Lambda functions have been successfully created. Now, we need to head over to the API Gateway configuration page. On this page, we need to copy the API URL of the REST services access point to configure our frontend application. After that, we can begin building the frontend project. Next, we need to update the API URL in the frontend project configuration. The frontend uses Mach project libraries and is built on the Vue framework. To set it up, we'll run the standard commands, npm install to install dependencies, and npm run build to build the project. For hosting our frontend application, we use AWS S3. Next, we'll deploy the frontend build result files to an AWS S3 bucket. This version of MachcOn requires manual configuration to enable CORS for API Gateway. To do this, you need to go to the API Gateway console and follow a few simple steps. Since this is a repetitive and tedious process, we have sped up the video to save time. Another manual step is to create an API Gateway Authorizer and assign it to the order and user REST services. Now, let's move on to testing it. This MachcOn project is integrated with the Commercetools application, so to validate the result of our actions, we can use the Commercetools Merchant Center. As you can see, there are no users registered yet. I'll run the Anteater recipe to open the home page of our application and attempt to log in using the default email and password. As expected, the error appeared. Now, let's create this user using the registration form. Let's check the user creation in Commercetools. Now, let's try logging in again. Login successful. Now, we can add a product to the cart and proceed to check out the order. The order checkout was successful. Thank you for watching this demo. Goodbye.